Yeah, and I think too, the game being at Lambeau matters. Obviously, they hate us, we hate them, but anytime you go on the road and you're in that prime time spot, we've all had the nightmares of having to watch these Bears games in prime time spots where we can't even buy a fucking first down. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's going to be anything like that this time, but with Rodgers in his state, right? Like down on his team doesn't look to have good chemistry going. And with Fields where he is right now. Now I'm not saying he played well. Don't get that twisted, but the fucking vibes are through the roof with Fields right now. You know what I'm saying? After that game, the slide, all that stuff, the way the team rallied behind him in that game because not to make it back to the 49ers game, but if you really look at the 49ers game for Fields, he didn't have an ideal game, but he found an open player twice for touchdown, right? On plays that were absolutely broken to shit. These Packer games are going to have those type of plays. You know what I'm saying? Those backyard brawl type of plays where Fields his game elevates. And I think too, Fields has always been a big game player. If you look at his college football playoff games, if you look at the bowl games, whatever they did in college, Big Ten championships, Fields always rises to the occasion. So I would like to see, I wouldn't say like better numbers than Rodgers, but at least like numbers that when they show the graphic at the end of the game, people are kind of, sitting there shrugging and saying, well, damn, Justin Fields kind of played a good game, you know? So I hope it ends up like that, but I also could see like a game plan where we just try to squeeze the air out of the ball and keep it out of Rodgers' hands, which I also do not hate because they couldn't stop us if we were the running backs. If we had a little three man room and then bring in Ron on fourth down, like we're getting 10 yards every time.
So something that's interesting here, and I noticed on a play that I put out on Twitter last night was it was a big gain to a tight end, just ended up wide open, and is really the same concept as St. Brown's touchdown. Really the same thing because St. Brown was almost in a tight end spot on that play, and it was come out looking like a run look, give it a little Olay to the linebacker, and then you're wide open. And it just kind of dawned on me right now. The Bears defense knows the Packers offense extremely well because of Getsy. Packers defense is going to know the Bears offense very well because of Getsy. Which also means they can throw some wrinkles in there that'll be very unexpected on both sides. But I expect it almost makes me expect this game to be very slow, except for a few massive plays on either side, because it's like that thing of like, I know that you know that I know that you know that I don't know, like there's going to be a lot of staring contests in this game, and that'll be interesting to watch for me.
I think it really just sets up to me to be a very defensive battle. Like all the things that you're saying, Q, and all the things that you're saying, beat on about potentially running down their throat or just trying to squeeze the air out of the ball and just trying to, I don't know, play like more of a slow pace. Potentially, I think that just kind of sets up to be more of a defensive battle. We know Flus wouldn't mind that, right? Like his coaching style and the way that the Bears played in week one, it feels like there's not only are the vibes good as far as offense go and like Fields riding this wave after the win and everybody diving into the puddle or into the lake that was a field on Sunday. But defensively as well. Like you have Eddie Jackson, who's now like people are like, oh, bring back 2018 Eddie Jackson, like, and he's feeling good about this performance. Like, I listened to Jalen Johnson on the radio the other day, and he was talking about how the confidence was there too between the players. Like after the game and even leading up to this, like there seems to be a really massive shift as far as like philosophy, not only philosophy, but just the way that the players are feeling. And if you're a confident team, that's a scary team. Like there's no question about it. Like football is one of the main sports where you can come in with a little intensity and confidence and do much better than any other sport, I feel like, because if you do have that, all of a sudden you can start to think a little bit more clearly as well. But you can put hits on people a little bit differently. Like Eddie Jackson was delivering some hits on Sunday that we have not seen over a few years now. So, like, I think there's something different about the defense this year, obviously. And I think that's going to play into it as far as the Packers not being on the same page right now. Like, you're going to take on a Bears team who's feeling good. Yeah, you can call it the weather, whatever, which, let's be honest, though, wasn't totally the weather. They did things to take away what the Niners do well. So I'm sick of hearing that all throughout the week that we've been getting this national media like, oh, it's just a weather game. I do feel like the game plan should be successfully run the football and throw some play actions in there and try to open things up, because the weather shouldn't be as bad, obviously, as last week, even though we don't know quite what it's going to be this far out. There should be some opportunities to hit some deep shots later in the game, like, or at some point in the game, whether that's the first quarter, second quarter, or, second half. I do think Montgomery will probably have a better game this week as well. Like, I know we talked about, is he a true fit in this offense, or is Khalil Herbert a better fit with what they want to do, and just seeing the hole and going, as opposed to Montgomery maybe, looks a little bit more for better opportunities and kind of waits around a little bit. I think if you do run like a fullback out there on a lot more plays for Montgomery, get some better push. Like, I don't think they were getting terrific blocking when Montgomery was in the game either, as far as run blocking goes. So I think that's going to be the way that you beat the Packers. Then he can really open things up for Fields, who, as we've seen, he can do things off script and he can kill a game plan. Like, he can throw out, even if you had a terrible game plan, like Getsy might have a terrible game plan this week because the Packers are expecting what he's going to do. And Fields can kill that in a heartbeat. So I think that's one of the things that you don't know going into the game what's going to happen with that, but it just gives you a lot of hope that in any situation, this offense can do something special, even if they don't have the best talent.